Joining me by phone, Natalie's father, Dave Holloway, and criminal defense attorney Jeff Brown. Dave, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I know this has to be difficult, as always. This is astounding video that shows Joran trying to lure allegedly young women out of Bangkok to Holland to become prostitutes. What is your reaction to this sex sting?
Well, it's really unbelievable, Jane, but it didn't surprise me. A lot of the experts following our case had indicated this guy was going to strike again, and had indicated that he'll be involved in some other criminal activity, and I guess they were right.
Yeah, and by the way, we have an open invitation to Joran van der Sloot's attorney, Joe Tacopina. He is welcome to join us here on this show to tell his side of the story anytime he wants. We've reached out, and we haven't gotten a comment at this point. I want to ask you about the connection between this whole Bangkok incident and the Natalie Holloway case. Obviously, that's your primary concern, Dave. You want to find out what happened to your daughter. Now, in the documentary, they interview Celeste, who is supposedly an ex-girlfriend of Joran's, and she says something quite astounding, that she believes Joran's dad was more involved than previously thought. Can you explain that? Because you've seen the documentary.
Yes, she had indicated that Joran told her that Joran's father knows more and coached him through this whole process of interrogation and so forth. He also told her that there was one other person who knows all about the case, and a lot of people believe that it was Paul van der Sloot himself.
Now, why do you say that? Because we've also heard of another person, a dowry, that was referred to in a previous expose.
In that previous expose, Patrick was the guy who spent about 6 to 7 months with Joran, and of course he was the one that believes that Dari is actually his father.
Okay, so in other words, that's a name that's being used, and you feel that that's a cover-up for the father. This is such fascinating stuff. Jeff Brown, criminal defense attorney, so many legal issues. First of all, speaking of Natalie, can any information gathered in this alleged scam in Bangkok to lure women into prostitution in Holland be used to help solve the Natalie Holloway case by going to the court and saying, look, he's a bad guy, look what he's doing now?
No, I don't see how you can do that. Most laws, especially United States laws, prevent you from saying somebody's a bad person in one instance, therefore they're a bad person in the other instance. Another reason why I don't think that this evidence will ever get anywhere is I think you and I disagree as to what this tape completely says. I don't hear prostitution. I hear him saying, I want people to come be dancers. He shows them what he wants. So even this tape itself, I think, is open to interpretation. Do we take it literally and that he's looking to bring back dancers, as he says, as they say, as he shows them what he's looking for is how to dance? Or are we saying that he's speaking in code and he's really looking for prostitution? I think that's a perfect illustration of how this tape itself would be very harmful.
Let me just say this. Obviously, this is just the jumping off point for an investigation. I understand that the authorities in Thailand are translating this entire documentary so they can understand what happened. Dave, don't they have to launch an investigation based on this? I mean, this is not an open and shut case, but they can now try to find out, was Joran working as a middleman? Is there somebody in Holland that is paying him off? Is he part of a prostitution ring? Don't they have to do some investigating?
From what I understand, Jane, the videotape is not the only evidence they have. I think there's some other email conversations between he and his accomplice.
So you're saying that this is part of a much larger sort of scope of investigation, and there's evidence coming up in other arenas. I've heard that, yes, there are emails that have come up that also could implicate them. You know what's interesting, Jeff Brown, is that one of the prosecutors in Thailand reportedly kind of poo-pooed the whole idea of prosecuting him, saying, well, you can't prosecute anybody based on a TV show. Sure you can. To Catch a Predator is a perfect example of prosecuting people based on undercover video that was obtained by a news crew.
Yeah, you can use a show like that to launch an investigation. And keep in mind, in most countries, not all countries, but most countries, what a defendant or a suspect says can be repeated by anybody, basically. The problem that you may run into legally is trying to use other people's statements that are on this show in a courtroom. In America, for instance, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd actually have to call that witness and have them testify kind of in the present sense.
Well,
so
Dave,
you can run into some of those logistic problems.
Dave, we only have a couple of seconds. Do you think that Joran van der Sloot is ever going to be prosecuted either for your daughter's disappearance or for this latest problem in Bangkok?
Well, I don't mean to be negative or anything. From what I've seen in the past and what I see in this tape and what evidence they have, I'm not very confident that they will.
Well, that's got to be depressing for you.
It is. I wish they would have done more and developed the case a little bit more than what they did. But who knows? That's the Dutch and the Thai authorities to make that decision, not me.
Well, I just want you to know that we will never forget Natalie. Dave,